cafeteria.
Go blue.
Here's your pocket mask.
Attach hands to victim's bare chest. 20 hands. Analyzing rhythm. Do not touch victim.
Everyone clear. Please, back up. Let's trade after this.
Shock advised. Charging. Stay clear of victim.
Everyone clear?
Press the shock button now. Shock delivered. Resume chest compressions.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
I'll take over compression from the AED
Do
advisory
not
for
touch
AED.
victim.
I'll take over ventilations.
Shock advised. Charging. Do not touch victim.
Everyone clear?
Press the shock button now. Shock delivered. Resume chest compressions.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Did you witness him go down?
We did, he just collapsed.
How long ago?
It was about 3 minutes ago. We started compressions right away, and that was the second shock.
See that? They're holding that mask on during chest compressions. Now, if that mask, that bag mask device has oxygen hooked up to it, it's not a problem to hold it on, because you're passively bringing in oxygen. On these bag mask devices, this reservoir right here, if you hook it up to oxygen, it fills up the reservoir like a balloon. If you're using a canister of oxygen, you can tell quickly when your oxygen canister is empty because the reservoir is gonna go flat again. So these bag mask devices by themselves, they hold about 1,000 cc's of air. We only hold like 700, 750. So you never wanna see people doing this, squeezing all that air down into somebody's airway, because it's gonna fill their lungs, overfill their lungs, go into their stomach, and cause their stomach to get distended. It's called gastric distension, and they will vomit. If they haven't vomited yet, they'll vomit now for sure. So we tell people, in fact, I don't necessarily like this strap on the bag mask device, and the reason why is if you're gonna use it, unvelcro it, put your hand in there, and velcro it back down. But now, as soon as I wanna get off this off my hand and hand it off to my coworker, I can't get it off very easily. So I just go over the top. The other reason I don't like that strap is it almost forces you to get your whole hand in there to get a good handle on it, when we're actually just gonna use the top of the bag. You only need to give enough air to see, how is that? To see chest rise, right? I'm gonna turn this mannequin this way, just so everybody, can you guys see over there? If you can't, stand up. You're gonna be at the ends of the tables in a minute. But the point goes over the nose, just like the pocket mask did. This is the exact same mask that you just used on the One Rescuer CPR. Stephanie, when Stephanie's doing chest compressions and you are Fallon. While Stephanie's doing chest compressions over here, Fallon doesn't have any oxygen hooked up to this mask, so she's gonna break her seal. But we want that tongue off the back of the airway still, so Stephanie's chest compressions can be more efficient. So if Fallon just happens to be back here, Stephanie's working really hard on those chest compressions, and she could be more efficient if somebody would just lift that chin or mandible bone, get that tongue off the back of the throat, and now her chest compressions are gonna be more efficient. With a bag mask device in your other hand, you can just hook your thumb right around the nose piece of that bag mask device. And when Stephanie's counting 27, 28, 29, 30, notice I'm just using the top third of this mask. Bag, break your seal. I just remembered another question you need to know the answer to. If my first ventilation, which it clearly did not go in, how would you troubleshoot that? My first ventilation did not get chest rise. Reposition that airway and try it again. What if my second ventilation did go in? But what if my second ventilation didn't go in? What would you do?
Back to chest compression.
Thank you. Everybody hear that? Back to chest compressions. We want the minimal amount of time off of that chest because that skill is the key skill in cardiac arrest survival. It's the chest compressions, not the ventilation. In fact, some of you, I don't know if I even mentioned it, you kind of came in at different times this afternoon, but if a cardiac arrest happened in that parking lot, you made that 911 call to dispatch, they would coach you through 600 chest compressions
Oh,
and not ask you to give one ventilation. Not one.
that's
You
too
can tell them, oh, it's my family member, I can
It's
pinch
hurting
your
your
nose and
hand.
give you breath, and they'll tell you no. Can anybody tell me why? So with this cardiac arrest, with oxygen in my lungs and oxygen in my
As
blood.
you said, for
you
so
just
many minutes.
To move it, right. So if you're up at Mount Ashland, Immigrant Lake, you probably after about 8 or 10 minutes, you're gonna need to figure out how you're gonna ventilate this person. Because if you just move blood, its oxygen is dissipated in the tissue already. Now if that person comes back to life, you bring him back somebody that's got brain cell death.
And
or
how many
breakdown.
minutes?
There is no number line in the sand, they say about 8 to 10.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, any questions on that? Is that?